morning and welcome to Coffee Conversations from Roofer's Coffee Shop. I'm so excited to have you all here today. This is a very special coffee conversations. Let me tell you, this is all about women history, and it's Women History Month this month, and we just had to celebrate. So we invited some of our key ladies who we know in the industry to come and talk about women history today. And as you all know, it's being recorded. And so please share this out afterwards. We want to be able to share this information, all the wisdom that comes from our panelists. Housekeeping wise, please ask questions. This is a Q&A, a live Q&A. We would love to have all of you ask questions, make comments, share stories. If you have some women that you want to recognize who have just been amazing in roofing, or some up and coming women, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about women in roofing, and it's going to be spectacular. So thank you all for being here. My name is Heidi Ellsworth. I'm the president of Roofer's Coffee Shop, and let's get going. Here we go. First, I want to start by introductions with our panel. So first of all, I would like to introduce my very dear friend, Karen Edwards, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Roofer's Coffee Shop. For Roofer's Coffee Shop. And so I'm going to let Karen introduce herself to make sure we get a little bit better there. Karen?
Hello, everybody. I am the COO for Roofer's Coffee Shop. I also have my own consulting business. I work with contractors in different parts of the country and some manufacturers. I help with press releases, writing, marketing, all that kind of stuff. I've been in the roofing industry for about 20 years. Starting out with Carlisle Syntech and going to Eagle View, and then here I am today, and I love it.
Awesome. And we're going to continue with these introductions, and then we're going to all share a little bit more of our stories about working in roofing. So next, I would like to introduce Casey Atherton, who is with McParleton, Roofing out of New Mexico. Casey, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Casey. I work with McPartland Roofing, and I do their service coordination there. I've been in the industry for less than a year. It's not an industry I thought I would end up in, but I love it now.
Oh, I think we have a little bit of a delay there. So, okay, Casey, we're going to come back to you. And we're going to continue with our introductions. Louise Belden. I have watched Mckenzie grow up a little bit, I think, over the years, and I'm so happy that you're here today. Mckenzie, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Heidi. I'm Mckenzie Belden. I work for Belden Roofing Company. It's my family business, and I joined 3 years ago as fourth generation. Grew up in the roofing business. I think I might have complained too much as a child that I was bored during the summers. And so my mom sent me to work with my dad every day. I worked with my dad and my older sister from when I was 12 every summer until I left for college. So really grew up in the roofing industry, got to see a lot and be very hands-on. Our business was started by my great-grandfather in 1946 in San Antonio and his wife. And we are now in our 76th year of business, and we are licensed and registered to work in 45 states and Puerto Rico. So we do all commercial roofing, and we're pretty widespread.
Great. Thank you, Mckenzie.
Thank you.
And Casey, we have you back. So we're going to come back around to you. I'm glad we had a little bit of a frozen moment there. But I do want to introduce Leanne Slattery, who is with ATAS. Leanne, please introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Leanne with ATAS International, and ATAS is a manufacturer of metal roofing as well as metal wall cladding, ceilings, soffits, all types of components made out of metal. I've been with ATAS for 16 years, so also in the roofing industry for 16 years, and I've been in building products, sales and marketing for 30 years now. Very involved in a lot of the different industry associations. Probably the ones most involved would be the Metal Construction Association, as well as National Women in Roofing, and also CSI, the Construction Specifications Institute.
Wow. Wow. Well, as you can tell from this amazing panel, we have definitely a diverse group, as in how long they've been in roofing, the type of roofing, where they're coming from, family business, publishing, manufacturing. So we wanted to be able to share this and to kind of really talk about not just Women's History Month, but also what is the experience for women. I already see some of those questions coming in. So what we'd like to do is, first of all, I'd like to have every one of the ladies talk about how they got into roofing and how that happened. Why did you even get into roofing in the first place? And how has been that journey that you've done? And I'd like to start with Casey, because we kind of missed some of her introduction. So Casey, you can finish your introduction and then tell us how you got into roofing.
Sure. Okay. So I work for McPartland Roofing in Santa Fe, New Mexico as their service coordinator. And I've been in the industry for less than a year now. I'm originally from Minnesota, and growing up,
we are having some technical. Casey, we are not able to hear you. Oh no. Try your mute and then come back and let's see if it mute and unmute.
okay.
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess like growing up with like a family in construction, it was made clear to me that like it just like wasn't an industry for women. So I went to college, and I started my career in like medical research. And I got a little burnt out, and I was looking for something new. And I happened upon my current boss, Hillary McPartland, and I was just so attracted to like her vision for inclusivity of gender in this industry, and just like her high standards for workplace culture. And yeah, I definitely like got my job, joined this industry because of her.
So a women-owned business, and now you're working there, and you moved from Minnesota to New Mexico. That's quite the jump.
Yes.
And how's the experience been so far?
Incredible. I love it. I think that this industry has such a growth potential, that you can really lean into whatever you are looking towards doing. And especially being introduced to National Women in Roofing, I feel like has opened up such a huge community of women in support and networking that I just don't feel like I've seen in other industries, especially male dominated ones.
Yeah. Excellent. Awesome. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about Hillary in just a few minutes. Karen, can you tell us how you got into roofing?
Your fault.
I know.
It's true. It's true. I went to school for communications and PR, and I worked in the nonprofit world for a few years, and then made a transition into marketing for an agency that worked with lumber and building material suppliers. And I got a call one day from that Carlisle was building a marketing team and looking for some folks. And I got an interview with Heidi. And can I tell the story?
Yeah.
Okay. So my interview was on a Friday night, 6 o'clock, I think, at a bar in Carlisle. And it's a college town, right? So there's all these college students there. And I get a call from the recruiter, said, Heidi's lost. She's on her way back from Pittsburgh. I'm thinking, okay, in Pennsylvania, the turnpike runs from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, and you can't get lost. It's one road. So I'm like, okay, great. I'll have another iced tea. When I really wanted a beer or a glass of wine. And finally she shows up and she sits down and says, oh, I need a beer. And I went, I like this woman. And we just kind of had a happy hour interview, and it really clicked. And I said, I think that we could do some really cool things together. And it never looked back. We worked several places together now.
Yeah. And your experience, I mean, we had very similar experiences, but And I know we're going to get into this later, but kind of your journey, Karen, of dealing with a male-dominated industry and kind of getting used to that. That was a little bit of a journey, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. You know, you have I always wore, I'm 5'8". I wore a couple inch heels too, because I wanted to look men in the eye or look down on them. And I used that to my advantage quite often. And, you know, the Wonder Woman, the power poses, and,
Yeah.
you know, there's things that you shouldn't even have to do,
Right.
but you do.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw that a lot. So, Mckenzie, your story.
So I, like Casey, actually did my undergrad, and I had big plans to go to medical school. I got a pre-health certificate and I studied business at UT. Got to my senior year and decided that I didn't like the MCAT, and I didn't think I would like taking tests like that for the rest of my life. So I actually accepted a position in consulting in Dallas, and I was working for a smaller consulting firm. So when I had wanted to go into consulting, I'm an extrovert. I like meeting with people and I like making connections and networking. And so I had joined a consulting firm thinking we would be doing that. And that actually wasn't what I was doing. It was more number crunching. It was a smaller team. So I wasn't client facing. And my dad called me. I was a few months into my job and he said, I need you to come work for us at Belden. We have a project consultant in the DFW market now, and we need business development. And I said, no, thanks. Sounds fun. But I did the whole roofing thing. You got me at my best when I was from 12 to 18. And then my grandfather called me and he asked me to join the team. And he said, this is something that you'd be really great at. You know, the roofing industry, you love making new friends. That's what you do. That's who you are. And so of course I told my grandfather, absolutely, I'll join the company. So I started the next month. And that is how I got into the roofing industry. But they say it's like the mafia. Once you're in it, you're in it. And I think that that's true. And I've kind of felt that way since I grew up in the industry.
You never really leave. You never can get away.
You can't get out.
Leanne, your story.
Well, before joining ATAS and getting into the roofing industry, I had worked for a wall panel manufacturer, not metal related at all. So I was very nervous when I interviewed with ATAS. They're very well known for metal roofing. I knew nothing about roofing, like nothing at all. And I was so concerned about that. And they were not at all concerned. They said, you know, we can teach you the roofing part of the business. You have the experience with calling on the architects and giving lunch and learn presentations and all the other things involved with architectural, you know, sales and marketing. So, you know, that's my worries were for naught, because they weren't at all concerned with that. They were more impressed, I think, with my association involvement and some of the other things that I did with the job. And, you know, that's what I would like to tell the younger people as well, to not let something like that sway you from applying for a job, because what you think might be a big deal really might not.
Exactly. We see that all the time. You can learn about roofing, but a lot of those other skills that need to come in, Leanne, that's a perfect note. And, you know, I'm just going to throw out there, my first job was in 1993 with Malarkey Roofing as a marketing coordinator. And even though I'd grown up in the trades with my dad being a general contractor, I was like, I didn't know anything. And today I love every part of roofing and every part of the manufacturing, the construction, the contractors, you name it. There's just, as far as we all know, there's no better industry out there. So this is the one. So I really want to kind of celebrate too, because this is Women History Month, right? And so I want to celebrate a little bit some of the women out there who really have made a difference to all of us and to the industry around, you know, in roofing, and what has been a thing. And I'm going to actually start. I'm going to actually put out a name of a lady who I think has broken more ground and has helped more women, and that's Alma Garnet. She was the president of Hunter Panels. She actually was one of the founders of Hunter Panels. So if you're out there wondering where the ISO is, Alma's not there anymore, so don't be mad at her. But she stood up. She stood up to company takeovers, to men, to working through the systems. And she did it with such grace and fluidity. She was just absolutely an amazing lady, and kind of gets me a little thinking about it. And she was my mentor. When I worked at Carlisle, she would sit down and just share, these are some of the things you need to think about, Heidi, and this is how the business goes. Today, she also was the president of Convoy Supply out of Canada after Hunter. And today she's an executive vice president, I don't know her title, at GAF, and is just turning GAF, I'm sure, upside down, doing great things. So that is one of the ladies that I think needs to get a lot of attention out there. So Karen, I'm going to go to you. Who is somebody that you would like to bring up who's made a big difference?
Wow. I wrote an article recently at the beginning of the month, and it featured two women pioneers really in roofing. The first one is Fma Humphrey. Her story is just amazing. She recently passed away in December, and she was TAMCO.
Mm-hmm.
She was leading that business. It was her family business, and she took over it as a young 20-something, and was basically running that business and grew it to where it was to where it is today. I know our friends at TAMCO, Kim and Melissa, hold her in such high regard, and she really was a role model. And then the other person I want to mention too is Diane Hendricks,
Yes.
ABC Supply. I included some information about her in the story, and we all know, oh, Diane, that she's ABC Supply, but I didn't realize that she was a teen mom, and she married the guy who was the wrong guy, and then got a divorce at 21 and was a single mom, and got into real estate and blazed her trail. And then with Ken, they started ABC Supply, and then after he passed away, she led them through the biggest merger when they merged with Pradco, and just has such good values and gives back to the community. And those are two women that I think, wow, they were doing this. This was 1950s when Fma was in TAMCO. This was the 1970s, when Diane and Ken were doing this. So that's pretty inspirational, because that was almost unheard of.
Yes, exactly. And when you really think back over the generations, and you think that a lot of those women aren't celebrated, and what they've done and what they've created has just been so amazing. I'm going to go to Mckenzie. Who would you like to mention?
So I actually want to mention my great-grandmother and then my grandmother, who were both actively involved in the success of our business. My great-grandmother, Ann Belden, started the business with my great-grandfather, Maury Belden, and she actually was very involved in the day-to-day. And I asked my grandfather to tell me a story about her, and he said that she was excellent at what she did. She did not have a college degree, but the business was successful because of how she ran it. She had a very brilliant mind, and she was very numbers oriented. So she handled our books, and she did not understand why people made mistakes. That did not make sense to her. So she really didn't have she just didn't have much forgiveness or room for error. And that was how she ran the business. And then my grandmother, Louise Belden, ran our purchasing department for, 40 years while she was at Belden. And I think she ran it the same way that Ann did. She really also doesn't believe in room for errors. So she runs a tough bargain. And my grandfather told me, when I asked him to tell me a story about her, that when he was meeting with one of our distributors at one point, they told us, we have good news and bad news for you. The good news is that you're one of our top 10 contractors that we sell to in the nation. So congratulations. And then the bad news was that they made less money on us than anybody else, because my grandmother would negotiate for pennies. She was an excellent negotiator, and she's still that way. And then another funny story was that they were at NRCA one time receiving an award, and my grandmother told everyone that while my grandfather is the king of the office, he is not her king. And that's how she ran their life. And that is very fitting. She still lives by that.
Mckenzie, I love that you bring that up, because I can't tell you how many times I've been visiting with someone and they've said, oh, it's my husband's business. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, well, do you work in it? Do you have part ownership? Well, yeah, but it's really my husband's business. And I'm always like, no, this is your business. This is together. And your grandparents, your grandmothers and your great grandmother, they really exemplified that.
and my mom works in our business as well. So
Yeah.
it really is a family business. And a lot of the success of our business is because of the strong women that have led it before.
I love it. I love it. That is so cool. Okay, Leanne, who do you have?
Well, you mentioned somebody yesterday, Heidi, and I really think she deserves some recognition, and that's Renee Ramey, who's the executive director of the Metal Roofing Alliance.
Yeah.
She's been in that position for quite a long time, has done a tremendous job in just helping to get the word out about residential metal roofing and working with all the contractors and helping to educate them. She's just done a fabulous job. I really don't know what her previous experience was before the Metal Roofing Alliance, but that's something I'd like to talk to her about someday, just to see where she started from.
Yeah, I know. She is incredible. She really is. And when we think about all the women who have built associations and put all that together, and Renee is she's really a leader out there. Casey, who do you think of?
I mean, I guess getting into this industry, like I came in here because of Hillary. She was incredible. She founded our NWIR branch in New Mexico. We had the first women-only crew in New Mexico, and
Awesome.
she's constantly like striving to like bring women in. So,
And Hillary is on the board of Western States also. So very involved, has really made a mark out there 100%. So, okay, great. And hopefully, I'm going to be reading the notes over here, but if you have some women who you want to mention in roofing, please chat them up in the notes. We do have a question, ladies. So I want to get to that before we go too much further, from Joshua. Thank you, Joshua, so much. What has been your biggest obstacle in what most people think is a male-dominated industry? Great question. So let's start with, Leanne, let's start with you.
Well, probably something most of us have experienced is the people don't necessarily think you know what you're talking about or have the product knowledge about something. For example, standing in a trade show booth with a previous boss at the company I used to work for, we were standing chatting and somebody came into the booth and started to ask some technical questions about our product and immediately just ignored me and targeted it towards Dan, our sales manager. And bless Dan, he pointed to me, he said, well, why don't you ask Lee? And she probably knows more about that than I do.
I love it. Male advocates.
Yes.
It's really important. Yeah, really important. So Mckenzie, what has been your biggest obstacle that you've worked on or seen?
Leanne, the same thing happens to me at our trade shows as well. That happened last week. And I was with my dad, Brad, and he actually pointed to me and he said, you should actually talk to Mckenzie. She's in our DFW office. So the same thing happens. When I first started with Belden, I was making phone calls, trying to generate business in the DFW area. And I'm young and a female in the roofing industry. So garnering the same level of respect was more difficult. And there were a few people that I called on who told me to have my estimator call them back or my project consultant call them back because they needed more information. Well, I was actually the one that had that information. My project consultant can help you with the roofing and the technical, but I have the manufacturer's information and the Belden information and doing those presentations. So like restructuring their mindset to want to be able to discuss things with me was a challenge when I first started in the industry. And now I don't even, if you want to talk to somebody else, I'm happy to send you to Dawn Marie, who handles our national accounts out of Boston. She's another woman in the industry.
There you go. I think you bring up a really important point too, Mckenzie, is that it's not just within the industry, it's our customers too. And working through building owners and homeowners and breaking some of those ways of thinking that have happened in the past. Yeah.
We have to reframe their mindset.
We do.
I know just as much.
Yeah. We can all learn it. We can all do it. Casey, how about you? What has been your biggest obstacle in the last year?
Yeah, I would say on a similar note as like Leanne and Mckenzie, just like trying to convince people that I can help them and I don't need to push them onto someone else that will just send them right back to me like, I can help you.
And what about, but within your own company, obviously Hillary is really looking at bringing a lot of women in there and stuff, but it sounds like you have a great culture, a good balance with men and women in your own company.
Yeah, I think within the company, it's fantastic. And, I think we would try to hire more if we could. It's just like finding people is difficult. So
I think they need to look in the medical industry, obviously from you two, that it has a lot of possibilities for us. So Karen, what biggest obstacles?
I think, I don't know if it was an obstacle, maybe more of an experience, is knowing that you are more qualified for a position than a man, but the man gets the promotion and you don't.
Oh yeah.
Happened to me. I've seen it happen to other people. And it's infuriating, and doing the same job and getting less money. Those are all challenges that to some degree still are happening every day.
Yeah, they are still happening. And that's why we have to be strong in talking about it and getting it out there, take it out of the dusty corners. I have to, and Joshua, I just want to, this is kind of a little different, but we actually talked about this yesterday when we were, prepping for this. But I think one of the biggest obstacles I've seen in the roofing industry is really this acknowledgement and embracing emotional intelligence. So different people, different cultures, different genders bring different things to the table. And for so long, the roofing industry was dominated by men. And so they thought one way, right? They thought Excel sheets, bottom line. And I don't mean to put that across the board. That's not fair. There's a lot of men out there with great emotional intelligence. So don't send me any hate mail. But I sat on several executive teams where they didn't want to hear about culture or about creative or about cause marketing. And they just were like, it's all about the numbers, it's bottom line, that's all we're doing. I really feel the more that women have come into the industry and brought those topics up, and I had to forcibly say, no, this is wrong. We need to be looking at all sides of this topic. And it's changed. I've seen it, and it's changed. It's just become a conversation. I think of Charles Antis and what he does with cause marketing and culture. And so it's not just women bringing it, but it's actually being talked about. And I think that's been one of the things I've seen over my 30 years, one of the biggest changes. And and I think with that acceptance, then it starts coming back to having advocates who help you with customers, but also then within the companies, because they know that culture is not right and it has to change, or else we're going to go somewhere else. And or we're going to start our own business, which is what I did, and what Karen did. But there's a lot of really great companies out there. And I do want to also mention John Kenny. Thank you. You are one of the great ones. You're on right now, and he said an absolute stellar group today. Thank you for being here. We have a question or a note, yay, from Mark Erdman. Thank you, Mark, for being on here with FEI. And he says, Mckenzie is a rock star with Exterior Contractor Alliance.
Thank
you. We need more women in that, don't we, Mckenzie?
Yeah, and Mark and I have been working together to try and attract more women to the group. It really is a great group, and I think it would be even better.
It is. I said in that,
and
they recognize that as well. So there's been a push.
Yeah, that's great. That's excellent. Thank you. And Brittany Belden also says, go Mckenzie. So you're getting some nice little thoughts there. I love it. A little bit of support. So one of the things that we want to talk about too is this is celebrating, right? We're celebrating women's history. So we need to have some celebration in here also, not along with it. So I wanted to ask each one of you, what is the best part of being in the roofing industry? What is the best part of that? So I'm going to start, Karen, I'm going to start with you.
I have to say it is the network of friends that I have across the country and even into Canada, and people that, I wouldn't have met otherwise, because this industry gives you opportunities to be a part of associations, to attend trade shows, to see the same people. I've seen Leanne at the trade shows for how many years? Oh, hey, Leanne, how are you? You know, and just getting that opportunity to build those friendships, to know that I can pick up the phone and call somebody if I have a question, or reach out, and anywhere that I am, if I'm traveling, I probably know someone in that area that I can meet for lunch. So that's really powerful.
I think that's a really strong statement too, to women who are out there, because there were times, I know I'm saying we're celebrating good things, but I'm going to say also, there were times in the past where women weren't able to go to the trade shows. They weren't encouraged to participate. They weren't encouraged to be a part of that. And so I think now that's changing. And obviously, I mean, we're all fans of National Women in Roofing, and it was being challenged now to say, no, you need to be able to go to the local council meeting. You need to be able to go out, get involved with your local roofing contractor association or the metal associations. And so that is another area that has really changed, and it allows us to make those friendships.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Mckenzie, what's one of the best parts for you of being in roofing?
Echoing what Karen says, when I attend trade shows now, because of the networking capabilities that we have with National Women in Roofing and then just across the nation, I mean, I want to walk around the trade show and say hi to all my friends. I rarely even want to be in our booth, which is what I did this past week at IBEC. So it's fun getting to meet different people from across the country, coming from different backgrounds, and hearing their stories of how they ended up in roofing, and then really having the strong female mentors that we have through National Women in Roofing, who are really helping pull more women into the industry and help them along their career, and really pulling them up, turning around and pulling them up. That's, I think, what we're trying to do, and bringing more women into this industry. And then beyond that, getting to work with my father and my grandfather every day is just, it's an amazing experience. I'm very, very lucky to have that.
Yeah. Wow. That is very cool. So Casey, what have you experienced, and where's your success or the best part so far?
The best part for me so far working in this industry has been working with female clients and talking to them, and I get feedback that they feel more listened to, or they don't feel dismissed or intimidated talking about roofing. And just like they come to us and they're excited because like, oh, I heard you're women led. Like that's important to me, and like I value working with women. And so that's been the best experience so far for me.
I love it. I hadn't heard that before, Casey. That's cool. That's a great way to look at it. Leanne.
Yeah, I would echo what most of you have said about the association work and being at the trade shows. That's been a large part of what I've done over the past 20 years or so. And it's nice at the trade shows now to see some knowledgeable women working in the booth side by side with their male counterparts, and not being just models or what had been known in the past as booth babes, where companies would hire women to stand in their booth, knew absolutely nothing about the product. And I'm hoping those days are well behind us, although I've heard that it's still happening a little bit.
Yeah.
Leanne, we're all booth babes. We're just educated booth.
Educated booth. That's a good one.
I love it. And I have to say too, it's just, this is a great career. Right. It's a great in construction for the most part. Salaries are, we're still working on that, but they're great. It's a great career. And I think we're respected. I really feel that across the board. It takes some time. You have to stand up for yourself. It's a little bit different, but it is. And I love it. Christina Hill is on here, who we just absolutely love. Christina, Harness and Heels. Anybody out there? Go on Facebook. If you're a woman in roofing, and get onto Harness and Heels, is a great Facebook group. And I love your question. She says, love hearing from all you ladies. We always get the question of challenges faced, pushback received, etc. From being a woman in this industry. And because we're women in this industry, I'd like to flip that and ask, what's a success story that you've had, or your biggest accomplishment? So
I can start that, Heidi.
Yeah.
I think my biggest accomplishment is starting my own business 6 years ago. it was scary because, you know, I had never, I always worked for a company, always knew I was going to have a paycheck. And the support that I got from people in the industry who said, oh, you're going to do this. Well, will you help me with this? And will you do this? You know, and there was just so much positivity and success. And here I am 6 years later. I mean, I went into it thinking, oh, I don't know, is this going to work? How much savings do I have in case I don't make any money? And so I think that has been my biggest accomplishment so far.
Yeah, and you have a great business. It is awesome. It's doing so much for the industry. Mckenzie.
I don't think that I have a specific success story, but I think my biggest accomplishment has gone from being Brad's daughter in the industry. And now I'm actually being invited to things myself. And I'm being asked to help with National Women in Roofing. I just joined the board in DFW. Being able to do those things and being actively involved in organizations like ECA, where I'm attending the meetings and I'm being invited as Mckenzie Belden, is probably my biggest accomplishment. So making a name for myself, it's awesome to have the Belden name because it has been such a household name for 76 years, and it gives me a lot of push, makes me want to do better by it. But it's nice to know that I've made my own connections in this industry. And I think that that's my biggest accomplishment because I didn't want anything handed to me. I wanted to being invited to do a webinar like this is a huge accomplishment for me. And I would not have seen myself being able to do this 3 years ago. So thank you, Heidi and Megan, for having me on.
Thank you. And, you know, your dad, Brad Belden, is so well known, and you are right. That is a huge accomplishment, and it's all on you. It's all the great work you do, the great networking you do. Yeah.
Thank you. Not to say that I don't love being his daughter. I do.
Yeah.
Now, if you're watching this, I love it.
Yeah.
But I call him Brad now in meetings. I want to separate that relationship. I love being his daughter, but I want to be respected for being Mckenzie.
That's so good. And, you know, I do need to mention, I realized I didn't say anything in the beginning, is Megan Ellsworth, our producer, is in the background right now chatting and working with all of you. So again, another amazing woman in roofing. So we should get Megan on here later on. In fact, I think we will. Casey, what's your biggest accomplishment so far, or success?
I think that when I came into this company, it was as a customer service representative, and then I came on to take over running our maintenance department. And then just recently this month, I made a sale. I'm so excited.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah. So I guess the growth opportunity and just being able to take on more and more has been really exciting and exciting.
Yeah, it's all there for you to grab. That's awesome. Leanne.
There's been several, but I think the one that's most recent and I'm quite proud of is in 2020, I was elevated to fellowship in the Construction Specifications Institute. So that's kind of a big deal, you know, especially the fellows, the large majority of them are men. So there's a few of us that are have been elevated, and you know, it's gotten better year after year. So I'm sure there'll be many more to come. But that was really nice to be recognized by my peers, and for a membership of probably 7,000 members or so, there's a lot of very well-known and respected folks in that group. So it was quite humbling to get that honor.
Congratulations. We saw that. We ran it on Rivers Coffee Shop too. So I've been sitting here listening to y'all and thinking about this, and I'm kind of the same way. There's been so many things throughout my career that I feel have been, you know, a huge success. And Christina, again, thank you for asking that question. And I have to say, National Women in Roofing, launching that and being a big part of that has been an amazingly fulfilling, just, you know, it's my heart. And Roofers Coffee Shop, obviously. But I have to say, the one thing that I felt that I did that really broke some traditions was moving from marketing to sales. And a lot of women were told, especially closer to my age probably, that, you know, sales wasn't really appropriate, that you shouldn't be in sales, or you shouldn't you shouldn't travel by yourself, or you shouldn't do these kind of things. I mean, even my family was like, oh, don't be in sales. That's a bad thing. And I wanted to be in sales. And so I had to take basically a lateral kind of decline in order to get into sales and start working and training and doing that. And today, if you ask me, am I a sales or a marketing person? I'm like, well, I think I'm a salesperson first and a marketing person second. And that was a huge accomplishment and something that was really an uphill battle. Today, now we all see that women are just amazing salespeople. Just like Casey said, the customers relate, there's non-threatening, it's we can close, we do all those different things and run successful businesses. So I think that's I think that's an important thing, but National Women Roofing and the World Award, it was kind of great. That was kind of a big deal too. So we have a couple more. I just want to say that we have a lot of, you're a rock star, Mckenzie, you rock, Karen. Women, this came from Wendy Marvin. Women are so collaborative. How do you guys think the collaboration versus competition has changed in our industry? That's a great question, Wendy. We actually had that down on our notes too. Leanne, let's start with you. How has that changed?
Well, when I first got into this industry, almost 30 years ago now or whatever, there were very few associations that were just women. The one that comes to mind is NAWIC, the National Association of Women in Construction. And, somebody I worked with said, oh, you really should join NAWIC, get involved with NAWIC. And I was like, no way, I wanted to be thought of as one of the guys, and, we shouldn't differentiate ourselves like that, I'll be members of all these other associations that include all of us. And my mindset has really changed, especially with the National Women in Roofing. And I have been to some NAWIC meetings, and there's the Association of Women in the Metal Industries, but there's nothing that can replace a network of women supporting other women. And, I really see the value in it now. Certainly men can become members of the National Women in Roofing. In fact, one of my coworkers, Bob LeClaire, is a member of the association. So, I just think that there's been a real shift there, and now I fully embrace that.
That's so true. It's so true. Karen, what do you think?
Well, this morning I was watching the news as I was getting ready for my day, and Madeleine Albright just passed away from cancer. And, she was a trailblazer of her own, not in roofing, but there was a clip of her giving a speech, and she said, there's a special place in hell for women that don't support each other. And I thought, wow, that's so powerful and so true. And I've seen it shift over my 20 years from being in that competitive environment, because there was one position open and there's a couple women that want it, and they're going to fight against each other for it. And that ends up going to a guy anyway. So it was like, what's the point? Let's support each other to be successful. And that's really shifted a lot over the years.
It has. I've seen the exact same thing. Mckenzie, have you? Because you have a lot of collaboration going on in your family for a long time.
Absolutely. And I think that, and this even extends beyond the roofing industry. There are women that I network with, and I'll give them a call trying to discuss their roofing needs, and they're just happy to connect me with other women in the industry. And I think that this is in the construction industry, but I think that collaboration, and this goes back to maybe more of an emotional intelligence thing as well. That collaboration has really made our industry. I think it's shifted it towards more of a professional industry and changed the culture of it. We've had female leadership for as long as I can remember at Belden. We've had women on our staff, and I believe we were at 50% recently. I need to get our exact numbers from Brad, but we've always collaborated well together. My counterpart, Dawn Marie, and I collaborate regularly, and it's really about women helping other women. When I joined the company 3 years ago, Dawn Marie took me under her wing, and she was my mentor. And technically we would be competitors because we're both in sales and we're doing regional things together, but she has been a huge help to me, and she is a large part of my success in the Texas area because of her connections that she set me up with. So really it's that collaboration mindset, and really, to echo what you were saying, Karen, helping each other, reaching back and helping pull other women up. That's the only way that we're going to move forward.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Casey, what you are experiencing it every day also.
Yes. So I have not ever felt, I don't think, competition with another woman in a workplace. Women have always been my biggest support system. They are my role models and my icons. I don't like, yeah, I only feel supported and uplifted by other women in this industry.
And there's the future, people. This is what the future is. Yay. Because I have to tell you, it hasn't always been that way, Casey. There were many times early on in my career where it was one woman that, you know, that it was just kind of that given there's going to be one token woman in leadership, maybe. And that usually was somebody in HR. And so it was very, and other women would be like, well, there's only one spot. So sorry, you can't be involved. We can't compete. And then men would even kind of use that against the women too, putting them at odds, but it has totally changed 100%. I think about everybody I work with, and now it's just, that's not the case anymore. It's 50-50, it's 60-40, it's whatever it may be. And there's plenty of room for everybody to grow and get to those next positions. So great question, Wendy. I know you've experienced it also. We all have. And I do want to say, Christina said, way to go on your first sale, Casey. So that you got a lot of people out there. Tiffany, yay, congrats. So very cool. I do want to bring up Peter McQuaid. Also mentioned Christine Mockenbach at SRS introduced me to National Women in Roofing at IRE in New Orleans, and my rep agency just joined as a silver sponsor. Thank you, Peter. Yay. And I'm psyched to go to my first meeting soon. Question is, what else can my rep firm do to help the National Women in Roofing? Great question. You can hire more women. They're great salespeople.
I saw that question come in, and one of my thoughts was, you know, National Women in Roofing has the 4 pillars: mentoring, education, networking, and giving back. I know it's not called that, but it's called something else. But being with a rep firm, there's a great opportunity there to have an educational session and learn. Like Mckenzie said earlier, I learn about roofing systems. I learn something new every day. We don't know it all. So, you know, having that opportunity to maybe host a meeting, do a hands-on, let's learn how to do this. Let's learn something new. Let's look at new products, and hiring more women, as you said, Heidi, is a great place to start. But I think that's an idea right there. And just attend, network, be supportive.
That is it, 100%. And I think the more, and that actually is kind of leading into, I want a question that I want to make sure we get to, because again, this hour has just flown. So I do want to say thank you, Wendy. She said, Heidi is the reason so many of us were welcomed into the industry. She pushed boundaries, but inspired others to join her. So thank you, Wendy, for that. I truly appreciate that. And from everybody out there. So what I'd like to do real quick is, Megan, if you are, I'd love for you to come on screen so everybody can see you. There she is. So Megan Ellsworth is our producer. She produces Coffee Conversations, all of our podcasts. You guys have seen her on the Gen Z Takeover. And she is definitely both. So Megan is my daughter, and James Ellsworth, my son, both were like, there is no way we're ever going to get in roofing, Mom. No matter how many vacations we take, how many roofs you say, what kind of roof is that? You know, we're just never going to do that. So Megan, and I kind of want to bring this to how do we recruit more women into roofing? What are your thoughts on that?
Hello, everyone. I think there's a huge opportunity, not just with women, but a younger generation that's graduating high school, graduating college. We're coming into a world where people are telling them that they don't want to work, and so they just believe that. And I think if you are of the mentality where you're thinking that everyone out there just doesn't want to work, then you're not going to hire people. I think that, the way we bring women and just people into the industry is by continuing what we're doing, by being welcoming and, you know, getting in front of those people, those young people that don't know what a cool industry this is, and that it's, you know, you don't have to be on the roof. You don't have to, you know, be doing the hands-on work necessarily. There's so many other opportunities. And yeah, I think just continuing on what we're already doing and being welcoming to not only women, but people of color, non-binary people, people that are part of the LGBTQ community, and just not putting up walls anymore.
I love it. Now you're going to really make me teary. So Megan has been producing these kind of coffee conversations on all of these topics. So go back and watch the Gen Z takeovers, go back and watch the Black History Month, just some amazing things exactly to what Megan just said. So Mckenzie, how do we get more women into roofing?
So what we're doing in DFW for our National Women in Roofing chapter is that we're going to start recruiting through high schools at their like college job fairs, and then also at community colleges as well. We're trying to set some stuff up to try and meet women that way. We had an idea of maybe going to like a Target and just, you know, doing like a Girl Scout cookie thing outside and trying to get women to join roofing that way. But, you know, I don't know if Target would approve of that, or if they'd be very happy if we were taking their employees away from them, because it's such a cool industry. Everyone would want to join.
I love that. I think we should also hit McDonald's.
Yeah.
And because this is a lot better career path. So
hey, do you guys want to come work in roofing? We have a job for you. I'm like handing out jobs like Oprah.
Yeah.
I have a job.
Yeah.
I have a job.
Come and be involved. Casey, what are you doing in New Mexico? What are some of the things you're doing to recruit more women? Because it sounds like you have a lot.
Yeah, I would say we're trying to reach out.
That dang internet. Casey, we're gonna have to come back. We're losing you again. I don't know why it's coming in and out. Dang it. Are you there now? No, okay. We're gonna actually we'll come back, Casey. Don't worry. I'll come back and get you. But I want to go to Leanne, because Leanne is doing something pretty dang cool that goes along to what everybody was just talking about. And that is, Leanne, why don't you go ahead and share? I just put it up on the screen.
All right, what you're looking at here is a shot of last year's campers that attended the Let's Build construction camp for girls. This is a camp that started in 2017, and it targets middle to high school age girls who want to learn about the construction industry in general. And it's a free camp. They don't pay anything to attend. It's week long, and they get hands-on experience from everything from carpentry to plumbing, electrical, HVAC, tile, masonry, painting, metal roofing, metal wall panels, other types of wall panels, installing a window. It's just incredible in just 1 week, all the knowledge and experience that these girls get. And it's such a cool thing to see them grow in such a short time with their self-confidence. If for nothing else, if they don't choose to pursue a career in the trades, it gives them some skills and knowledge that they're able to do things. There's nothing better than to see a girl who just wired an electrical switch and to flip it on and the light bulb comes on. It's like the best thing ever. So, you know, this is just one way that we locally, this was a collaborative effort between our local CSI chapter and the local ABC chapter, the Associated Builders and Contractors. And the CSI Foundation has actually adopted this, where they're helping to put more of these camps out and get them started across the country. Next year, there's one in Atlanta, Georgia that's being developed, the Cleveland, Ohio area, and southwestern Missouri. And hopefully this is just going to continue to grow. It's a great thing. You know, I've been part of the planning committee from the beginning. ATAS has hosted the girls here for a tour. You know, one day of their curriculum, they actually get to go out on a tour, field trip days. So they go maybe to see a manufacturer. They might go to a job site. They visit an architect's office and a contractor's office and see what those career options are all about. So just a very cool thing. I feel blessed to have been involved in this.
Leanne, you are doing such amazing things here. And I got to do a shout out to Dick Buss too, who is the owner of ATAS. And I'll never forget the day I was sitting, we were at an NRCA meeting, and he says, Heidi, sit down here next to me. You got to watch this. And he brought his phone out and he had his granddaughters at Let's Build. And he was so supportive of everything. And so that's really what it takes. It takes that kind of from all of us and everybody involved. And I want to point out, John Kenny made a great comment that is getting tons of comments on the thing, but he said, there are a lot of us out there that support women in the industry. Those men who do not support women in the industry are not worth knowing or worth your time. So thank you, John. Yeah. And if you want more information on Let's Build, we have articles on Roofers Coffee Shop. You can get a hold of Leanne. This is a great program. There are programs like this all over that National Women in Roofing councils are getting involved in. They're not exactly the same, but she builds a lot of different things that are going on out there. And so before we finish the hour, we are going to do a plug for National Women in Roofing. So if you are out there and you are not a member, you need to be a member. Men, women, it doesn't matter. This is an organization that is on fire. It is one of the associations that continues to see its membership grow at exponential rates. And I'm going to also push out to everyone who's out there that you should buy memberships for all the women in your business. From, I don't care what they do, if they're on the roof, if they're at the front desk, if they're in HR or accounting, it doesn't matter. Every Roofers Coffee Shop has every single one, women and men, are members of National Women Roofing. And so I challenge every business out there to do that for all of definitely for all the women and the men who are interested too, to have them be involved, get a membership and go to your local council meetings. Karen, you said it a little bit. I'll let you get a few words in on that also.
I agree. It's an amazing organization. And what's been great about this shift to more virtual events is there's events all the time happening with National Women in Roofing. Go to their website. There's a calendar. Each council puts their events up there. I've been on New Jersey. I've been on Pittsburgh virtually. I've met so many additional people and made friends, and it's $75 for a year membership, and you get so much out of it.
Yeah,
so much out of it.
It is really amazing. I want to say thank you to all of you on this panel and everybody who is watching, who really believes in this. And I just need to point out, Tammy Brewer, thank you for being on here. And she said, this is so inspiring and heartwarming. To me, that just means everything. And I know it does to all of us at Roofers Coffee Shop and to everybody here. Wendy, I will make the introduction to Leanne for you. Wendy Marvin wants to know how to start a Let's Build in Washington. So of course she would. This is perfect. We'll make the introductions. Anybody else, you all know, if you need more information, there we go. Leanne already put it into the chat. So Let's Build camp.com. We can make introductions, whatever you need. All of you, thank you. Thank you so much for being on this panel today. Casey, Mckenzie, Karen, Leanne, you are so inspiring. Your wisdom, just a great day. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thanks. I'm going to get Casey in there one more time and see. Can we hear you?
Thank you.
Great. That is awesome. Thank you all. And so what's next? I mean, there are so many, these coffee conversations has just gotten us so excited, all these different topics, but the one that's going to be coming up next is April 14th. And it will be Caught Doing Good, sponsored by ABC Supply. We're going to be actually visiting with the folks and contractors who are involved with Home for Our Troops, excuse me. And it's going to be a great coffee conversation. So again, how do you give back? How do you be a part of something bigger? That's what it's all about. And that's what the roofing industry is doing every single day. I want to remind all of you, this has been recorded. It will be up on the site within either at the end of today or early tomorrow morning. And we ask you to share it. Share these coffee conversations. It's on demand. Go back and watch the ones before on Gen Z and Black History Month, and stay tuned because we're going to have some more great things coming all the way through June 9th, when we're going to be celebrating Pride Month. So we are bringing these topics to all of you, and we appreciate all of you being here. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the next Coffee Conversations.